Section 6.4, solving rational equations. Remember, rational means fractional. Specifically, we are talking about algebraic fractions, correct? Question is find x and check. So be careful, there is a checking involved in this section. 15 over x is equal to 3. If you have a fraction on one side of the equation, and a fraction on the other side, I can change the whole number into a fraction. All I have to do is cross multiply to get rid of the fractions, correct? So that's called cross multiplication, correct? Remember, this only works if you have one fraction on the left, one fraction on the right. So this is kind of like 3x is equal to 15 times 1. 3x is equal to 15, x is equal to 15 over 3, which is 5. Question, what do you mean by check? In this problem, in these kind of problems, because there is an x at the bottom, you want to make sure the answer does not make the bottom 0, because if you divide a number by 0, you get undefined. So if you find a solution which makes the denominator of your equation equal to 0, you should discard that, correct? So that will not be counted as your solution. So in this case, 5 doesn't make this denominator 0, so it's okay to keep it as final answer. In this problem, once again, the question is find x and check. Okay, first thing I do is find the lowest common denominator of these little fractions on both sides. So in this case, what's LCD of 8, 4, and 8, which is 8. Okay, next step, multiply both sides of the equation by lowest common denominator to what? Clean up the fractions. Remember, we can only clean up the fractions if we're dealing with what? Equations. You've got to have an equal sign to clean up the fractions. Next, distribute the 8 to remove the parentheses. So you would get 3x plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 3. Remember here 8's cancel. Here 8's cancel, but here 4 goes into 8 twice. Okay, so this is the same as x is equal to negative 5. There is no x in the denominator of any of these fractions, so this is okay. You don't have to check this. It's okay. Had I had an x at the bottom, I had to check and make sure I don't get an undefined answer, correct? The next problem, 3 plus 2 over x equals 1 over 4. Give a denominator of 1 to 3. Find the lowest common denominator of 1, x, and 4. What is it? It's 4x. Multiply both sides of the equation by LCD, which you just came up with, correct? So in this case, I have 4x. Next, distribute the LCD to remove the parentheses. So the purpose of multiplying both sides by LCD is to clean up the fractions. So what do I get? I get 12x plus 8 equals x. Correct? That's 12x plus what? 8 equals, 4's cancel, x. So this is like 11x equals negative 8. X is equal to negative 8 over 11. If you stick negative 8 over 11 here, it does not make the denominator 0. So I'm not going to get any undefined answer. So I'm going to box my answer and say, you know what? This is the final answer. Next, find x and as usual, check. Notice we always have to check the answers in this section. Okay, give a denominator of 1 to 2, change it into a fraction, find the lowest common denominator of x minus 2, x and 1. You know, these three denominators. Neither of these guys are factorable, so they are prime. So therefore, LCD is just what? the product of these guys. Okay, the next step is multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD, which you just came up with. And that would be something like this guy right here. Next, distribute the LCD, correct? And multiply these guys out. See what you get on either side of the equation. Here, the x minus 2's cancel. So you get x times 2x plus 1. Here, the x's cancel. So you get minus 15 times x minus 2. Up here, nothing cancels. But remember, this is the same as 2x times x minus 2. Correct? Distribute the 2x. So what do you end up with? 2x squared minus 4x. So no more fractions, but you still got parentheses you need to remove. So now you need to distribute the x, the negative 15, and the right side has no parentheses, as you can tell. So what do I have? 2x squared plus x minus 15x minus 30 equals 2x squared minus 4x. If you remove everything to one side and put the equation in what? In standard form, remember when you move things from one side to the other side of the equal sign, you need to what? Change their signs. So 2x squared becomes negative 2x squared, negative 4x becomes what? Positive 4x. Now combine the like terms. These guys add up to 0. These guys add up to negative 11x. And then let's see what else we got. Oh, we got an x here, so that would make it negative 10. So that's negative 10x. And then I'm going to add 30 to both sides, so that's positive 30 on that side. Divide both sides by negative 10. And lo and behold, x is equal to negative what? 3. Check and see if this guy doesn't make any of these denominators 0. Because if it does, it makes the fraction undefined. You should discard that answer. Let's see now. If you stick negative 3 here, negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. This is good. If you stick negative 3 here, that's good. None of these denominators become 0 when you replace the x's with negative 3. So therefore, what? This I declare as my final answer. The next problem is this guy right here. It's a little bit more involved. Once again, find x and check. Okay. First thing first, I need to factor this. Okay, that's one of those easy factors, which is x plus 3, x plus 4. Why is that? Two numbers, they multiply to 12, they add up to 7, it has to be 3 and 4. So now the lowest common denominator of x plus 3, x plus 4, and x plus 3 times x plus 4. Answer, x plus 3 times x plus 4 is the LCD, the lowest common denominator. Okay, remember when things look alike, you only choose one of them, not both. If they have different powers, you choose the one with the higher power, correct? So what you do, you kind of multiply what? Both sides of the equation by what? The lowest common denominator, which you came up with, correct? So in this case is x plus 3 times x plus 4 times both sides of the equation. Do you see it? So also leave this denominator in factored form so you can cancel the common factors. Next, we need to remove the parentheses, correct? But remember, when you multiply LCD by this first fraction, x plus 3's cancel. So that leaves you with x 6 times x plus 4 plus, here the x plus 4's cancel. So that leaves you with what? 5 times x plus 3. Up here, the entire LCD wipes out the denominator. Do you see it? So all you are left with is 12x plus what? 31. Now we have to remove the parentheses, correct? So you get 6x plus 24 plus what? 5x plus 15 equals 12x plus what? 31. Collect the x's to the left, numbers to the right. Incidentally, these guys add up to 11x. These guys add up to, say, what? 39. Is that right? And you still got 12x plus 31. Move the x's to the left, so that's 11x minus 12x is negative x. Move this guy to that side, so that's 31 minus 39, so that will be negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 1, and that leaves you with what? 8. However, notice it says check. Check and see that what? When you stick 8 here, here, or here, it does not make any of these denominators 0. 8 plus 3 is 11, that's good. 8 plus 4 is what? 12. And this is like 8 times 12. None of these denominators happens to be what? Equal to 0. So this, I declare, is the final answer. So please remember, checking is very crucial in this section. Make sure before you box your answer, check and see that none of the denominators on the either side of the equal sign is equal to 0. If for some reason what the solution makes either of these denominators 0, you have to discard that solution. You gotta cross it out, so that will not be a solution. Thank you.